Hi, Tamara Ghandour here, founder of Launch Street, creator of the proprietary Innovation Quotient Edge personality assessment. Today, I want to talk about how to ask questions that spark conversation, not conflict. How many times have you been in a conversation, one-on-one or group, a meeting, a presentation, a pitch, and you ask a question and suddenly you find yourself spiraling down the negativity drain? The conversation goes from good to spinning its wheels or stuck in a rut. You find yourself in confusion or conflict. Part of that could be how you're asking the questions. And I found that there are 7 keys to asking good questions that spark conversation, not conflict. Let me tell you what those 7 are. Number 1, ask open-ended questions, not yes or no questions. Yes or no questions shut the conversation down and create conflict. Open-ended questions bring people along for the journey. Number 2, get specific, not general. Oftentimes when we ask general questions, people aren't really sure what they're even responding to. That creates confusion, which of course creates conflict. Be specific. Number 3, ask for a story or example. Take out the assumptions. We're humans. We're naturally wired for storytelling and to receive stories. Having people share stories and examples of exactly what they mean takes out the assumptions we're making about what they're trying to say. Number 4, follow up 3 times. Well, why? Well, why again? Well, how come? Well, what if? Go deep. Staying on the surface often creates conflict and it creates a lack of clarity. And oftentimes those conversations lead to decisions that don't get you where you're trying to go. And you're revisiting that challenge or that opportunity again because you didn't get the results you were looking for. You've got to go deep to take out the conflict. Number 5, be curious like a kid. Put your knowing and your expertise aside. Have you ever watched 2 kids have a conversation about a box, how to put the box together, what it's made of, what it could do? They go in with no assumptions, all possibilities. When we push our knowing, our expertise onto other people's response and conversations, we create conflict. We create assumption, which creates confusion. Be curious like a kid. Push your knowing and your expertise aside. All right, number 6, ask about people's reactions and emotions. Don't respond to them. All right, this is a big one. You're having a conversation and someone says, well, I'm really frustrated. So you, in an effort to drive to solution, go, well, let's take the frustration out. Here's what we can do. Here's the problem with that. Frustration, any of the reactions, frustration, overwhelm, excitement, energized, all of those are very subjective. What might be frustrating to you may not be frustrating to me. What I might see as a big risk or risky and a little bit I'm afraid of might be something you're perfectly comfortable with. So instead of trying to react to people's responses and trying to solve them, I want you to ask about them. Well, what is it that makes that frustrating? When you say frustrating, what do you mean? Ask about their reactions. Don't respond to them. And number 7, ask what questions you didn't ask. You don't know what to ask sometimes. None of us do. We can't know everything. I love to end my meetings with, hey, what's one thing I didn't ask you about that you think I should know? Hey, what's one thing that we didn't talk about that you think is important to have on the table? That is when you get to the real heart of it. Let them tell you the conversations you should be having. All right, those are 7 tips to ask questions that spark conversation, not conflict, so that you can have meaningful, rich conversations that move your ideas, your projects, your progress forward.